What's going on, everyone? Nico here with Behavior Analyst Supervisor. Welcome to our free Monday Zoom. Typically, we have this Zoom on Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That makes it, let's see, 7 p.m. Central Time, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Time, also 5 p.m. Arizona Time, depending on what time of the year, right? All those no time change, no daylight savings. So fun. Cool. Anyways, if I haven't met you before, it's so great to meet you. I'm happy you joined us. Like I said, I'm Miko. I'm the Director of Customer Support here at Behavior Analyst Supervisor, and I am also a BCBA. With these free Monday Zooms, what we try to do is pick a concept. We will briefly go through the concept, 10, 15 minutes. We'll have about 3 mock questions relating to the concept, and then we'll have about 5 to 10 minutes at the tail end for Q&A. We typically do a giveaway during these. We give away one of our free mini mocks, so we just add that to folks' accounts if you win. If you ever have questions, we want you to know we are here for you. So you're more than welcome to send us an email. Let us know if you have questions. You can DM us on Instagram. Lots of different avenues to get a hold of us. But outside of that, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today, we are going through Ethics 101. And reality, we're just going to cover a few of the important ethics code item areas. We'll be doing 6 ethics code items altogether, and then, or maybe 7, but anyhow, 6 or 7, I think it's 6. And then we will go ahead and jump into 3 scenario questions relating to a few of those. Ethics is one of those areas where there's a whole lot of information to learn. There's a whole ethics code that you should certainly be familiar with. You should know everything from the glossary in the beginning because it outlines what the terms are and defines what the terms are for you. And then you should dive into the intro. Don't skip the intro. I know when I was studying for my exam, certainly I didn't read the intro, just like I don't read the foreword of a book. I don't know if I'm missing out on something or not, but I like to skip to the good stuff. In the ethics code, the good stuff is everything, so you don't want to skip too far ahead. You want to make sure that you're familiar with not only the glossary, but the intro. You might even want to be familiar with the ethical decision-making process. And moving forward, you want to ensure that you certainly know the codes, or at least the general idea of the codes. Today, I'm just going to hit a few of the quick hitters. This is what we'll go through. I'm going to read these code items verbatim, and then I'm going to try to describe them. So I guess there is 7 code items, but 6 areas. Number 1, we're going to hit multiple relationships. Then we'll jump into gift giving and receiving. We'll hit romantic and sexual relationships, talk about referrals, advertising of non-behavioral services, and testimonials. And like I said, we will go ahead and just read these verbatim directly from the code, which is how I would recommend that you study them. From there, we'll go ahead and jump in and learn a little bit about what each one is. So that's what we're going to do. Here we are, multiple relationships. This is 1.11. Because multiple relationships may result in a conflict of interest that might harm one or more parties, behavior analysts avoid entering into or creating multiple relationships. This is including professional, personal, and familial relationships with clients and colleagues. Behavior analysts communicate the risks of multiple relationships to relevant individuals and continually monitor for the development of multiple relationships. If multiple relationships arise, behavior analysts take appropriate steps to resolve them. When immediately resolving a multiple relationship is not possible, behavior analysts develop appropriate safeguards to identify and avoid conflicts of interest in compliance with the code and develop a plan to eventually resolve the multiple relationship. Behavior analysts document all actions taken in this circumstance and eventual outcomes. So this is clearly one of the ones that you all likely learned about a whole lot during grad school and even while you're studying for your actual exam. Multiple relationships are something that we have to avoid. Sometimes these are also referred to as dual relationships. Dual just means 2, right? 2 or more. When it comes to multiple relationships, we don't do them. It's pretty simple, right? We're not going to babysit and be someone's behavior analyst. We're not going to go to dinner and be best friends or buddies with our caregiver or with our client's father or mother or cousin or brother or sister. You get the point. Now, There are certain extenuating circumstances in which a situation where, let's say, for example, you're the only behavior analyst in a, I don't know, let's just make it really crazy, like a 500-mile radius. And your next door neighbor had a child that was diagnosed with autism and you specialize in it. And there's no other way they can be treated outside of you, who are their neighbor and now going to be their behavior analyst. In cases like that, where it falls a little bit in the gray area, you want to make sure that you have a clear contract outlined. You want to make sure that you're following the rest of the code to a T. But there are certain very, very rare extenuating circumstances in which you might need to clearly outline responsibilities and roles and then accept a relationship or a client to supervisor relationship that you might not have otherwise accepted. Now, I still am not going to be the behavior analyst for like my best friend's child, because that wouldn't be a situation where I could separate the two. There might be some where you know someone a little bit, but you still have the ability to separate those relationships. But that's the big one. And it does just talk through a few of them, right? Professional and personal. It could be any two of these. Professional and family, professional and colleagues. Those are all relationships you kind of want to avoid. It's pretty simple. This one's fairly self-explanatory. You just have to think about those one-off situations in which, you're the only behavior analyst and we should do what's in the best interest for the client. So you really would need to separate and make sure that you are being very clear about the roles of each individual. Now, let's go to the next one. The next one is 1.12, giving and receiving gifts. Because the exchange of gifts can invite conflicts of interest and multiple relationships, behavior analysts do not give to or accept gifts from clients, stakeholders, supervisees, or trainees with a monetary value of more than 10 US dollars or the equivalent purchasing power with another or the equivalent purchasing power in another currency. Behavior analysts make clients and stakeholders aware of this requirement at the onset of the professional relationship. A gift is acceptable if it functions as an infrequent expression of gratitude and does not result in financial benefit to the recipient. Instances of giving or accepting ongoing or cumulative gifts may arise to the level of a violation of this standard if the gifts become a regularly expected source of income or value to the recipient. So just a few highlights. Number one, it's more than just with clients. It includes stakeholders, obviously. Stakeholders in some certain circumstances could also be the client, but it also includes your supervisees, your trainees. That means you can't buy your supervisees lunch if it's over $10 in value, right? Can't take them out to lunch. Now, if the company is paying for it, that's a different situation. Or say you want to be a nice BCBA and you want to show your gratitude to your supervisees and you want to send them a Starbucks gift card. That gift card needs to be $10 in value or less. You can barely get a drink and a sandwich for $10 at Starbucks. So unfortunately, we have to follow what the code says. The other piece that I really want to hit two pieces. Number one is you need to make these individuals aware of this at the onset of the relationship. Best practice is to do some sort of onboarding meeting where you discuss the code of ethics as a whole. But at the end of the day, it should be discussed at the onset of the relationship. And then the second thing here is that it needs to be infrequent. So we're not doing this on a daily basis. We're not doing it on a monthly basis. It needs to be infrequent, right? Infrequent, which just means not regular. Those are the keys there. This is just serving as a brief overview. There's a lot of information to get through with the code. If you have specific questions, just let us know. I just wanted to really hit the key pieces of these kind of high-flying parts of the code. 1.14, romantic and sexual relationships. Behavior analysts do not engage in romantic or sexual relationships with current clients, stakeholders, trainees, or supervisees because such relationships pose a substantial risk of conflicts of interest and impaired judgment. Behavior analysts do not engage in romantic or sexual relationships with former clients or stakeholders for a minimum of 2 years after the date of the professional relationship ended. Behavior analysts do not engage in romantic or sexual relationships with former supervisees or trainees until the parties can document that the professional relationship has ended. This is completion of all duties. Lastly, behavior analysts do not accept as supervisees or trainees, individuals with whom they have had a past romantic or sexual relationship until at least 6 months after the relationship has ended. There's a lot to kind of digest here. Number one, this is one of the codes that if you were studying circa 2001, or not 2001, that's a long time ago, 2021, you would know this as being different. What the code used to say is that it was 2 years for everything. So whether it was a supervisee or a trainee or a client's caregiver, which weird, but it's what the code says, it's 2 years. Now that has changed. This is almost a 3-part code. Part one, part one, clients, stakeholders. That's part one, right? Clients or stakeholders. That's 2 years from the date of the professional relationship. Clients and stakeholders, 2 years, right? That's caregivers. That's the caregiver's teacher or the client's teacher. That's the cousin, whatever, right? 2 years for individuals directly related to the client. Now, there's another part, right? When it comes to former supervisees, and that's the key word, former, that means you could be supervising someone today, and then tomorrow you could say, hey, I'm not supervising you anymore. And then it would be acceptable to date them. So if it's someone who you currently work with and you are currently their direct supervisor, you need to end that professional relationship and then wait no amount of time. There's no waiting period. It's just ending of the relationship and documenting that you've ended it, right? Yeah, that's what the code says. From there, there's one other one, and this one really gets me. It makes me kind of laugh when I think about it. But behavior analysts do not accept as supervisees or trainees individual with whom they've had a past romantic or sexual relationship with until at least 6 months. So you're in a long-term committed relationship with someone. You've been dating for 10 years, right? You want to supervise them. They decide all of a sudden they want to become a BCBA or an RBT. Doesn't matter. You're going to be the supervisor for them. Well, what do? First, you have to end the relationship. Then you have to wait 6 months. There's a waiting period. And then you can supervise them because all feelings go away after 6 months. I'm joking. The feelings things might not, but the code says 6 months. That's what it is, right? So you have to remember stakeholders, clients, 2 years. Current professional relationship, colleagues, end the professional relationship, no waiting period. Previous romantic relationship, end the romantic relationship, wait 6 months. Extremely confusing. I would read this one more than once, more than twice, probably 3 or 4 times. All right, we're gonna have to keep rolling so I can make sure I get through all of these and then the questions. 3.13 referrals. Whenever you see this, it means that it relates to these other ones, and you might want to read them in order to get the full grasp of 3.13. Behavior analysts make referrals based on the needs of the client and or relevant stakeholders and include multiple providers when available. Behavior analysts disclose to the client and relevant stakeholders any relationships they have with potential providers and any fees or incentives they may receive for the referral. They document any referrals made, including relevant relationships and fees or incentives received, and make appropriate efforts to follow up with the client and or relevant stakeholders. Here it is. Do you or are you able to make a referral and receive monetary compensation? The answer to that is yes. It sounds like a commercial, right? If you've received monetary, whatever. Anyhow, you are 100% allowable by the code to refer individuals to other organizations and receive compensation for that, as long as you inform the client that you are doing that. That's what the code says. I'm not saying I agree with all of these. I'm not saying I disagree with them. I'm saying this is what the code says. This is what you need to know for your test. Referral compensation is allowable so long as you have documented it and the client is aware of it. All right, last two are relating to the same concept. Well, we have this one, and then we have 2 more that relate to the same concept. So advertising non-behavioral services. Behavior analysts do not advertise non-behavioral services as behavioral services. Stop. That does not say we don't advertise non-behavioral services, period. It says we do not advertise non-behavioral services as behavioral services. It goes on to say, if a behavior analyst provides non-behavioral services, these services must be clearly distinguished from their behavioral services and BACD certification with the following disclaimer. Verbatim, it needs to be included. These interventions are not behavioral in nature and are not covered by my BACD certification. This disclaimer is placed alongside the names and descriptions of all non-behavioral interventions. If a behavior analyst is employed by an organization that violates this code standard, the behavior analyst makes reasonable efforts to remedy the situation, documenting all actions taken and eventual outcomes. What this says, and I know this is confusing because we're taught we don't practice things that are not behavioral in nature. You don't practice non-behavioral things as a behavior analyst. If you're a palm reader on the side, you can read palms. In this, it even seems like you can advertise these two services simultaneously, so long as you have this disclaimer next to your palm reading or aquatic dolphin therapy or whatever it is that you do. All of those are allowable so long as you have this disclaimer next to it. This is why it's so important to read the code, because I feel like I was taught you can't do this point blank. No, you're never allowed to do these two things simultaneously. But this directly from the BACD Code of Ethics states that you can, as long as you have this disclaimer next to it. That's why it's very important to read the code. All right, last two, these are big. I'm going to read them and then just jump right into questions so we have time to answer all three. So 5.07, soliciting testimonials from current clients for advertising. Because of the possibility of undue influence and implicit coercion, behavior analysts do not solicit testimonials from current clients or stakeholders for use in advertisements designed to obtain new clients. This does not include unsolicited reviews on websites where behavior analysts cannot control content, but such content should not be used or shared by the behavior analyst. If a behavior analyst is employed by an organization that violates this code standard, behavior analyst makes reasonable blah, blah, blah. We've read that 100 times. You get it. This is telling us we do not solicit. Solicit means to go and ask for. So we do not seek out testimonials from current clients for advertising, right? This does not include our websites or something that we can't control. This means if one of our supervisors or one of our clients, I guess, goes on our website or our LinkedIn profile and leaves a review, that's totally fine, so long as that review is appropriate in nature. It can't be any information that's untrue or false, because if it was untrue or false, we would need to have it removed. However, if it's true, it's an accurate statement, we don't have to do anything about it. We can't control those things, so it's totally fine. Other than that, we don't solicit from current clients. How about from former clients? 5.08. When soliciting testimonials from former clients or stakeholders for use in advertisements designed to obtain new clients, behavior analysts consider the possibility that former clients may re-enter services. These testimonials must be identified as solicited or unsolicited, include an accurate statement of the relationship between the behavior analyst and the testimonial author, and comply with applicable privacy and confidentiality laws. When soliciting testimonials from former clients or stakeholders, behavior analysts provide them with clear and thorough descriptions about where and how the testimonial will appear, make them aware of any risks associated with the disclosure of their private information, and inform them that they can resend the testimonial at any time. If a behavior analyst is employed, you know that piece. This one states, totally okay to go ahead and solicit a testimonial from someone who has already exited out of services. You need to ensure that they're not going to re-enter services. You also need to ensure that you are listing it as solicited or unsolicited. You also need to ensure they're aware that their personal information is going to be out there. It's going to be on our website. It's going to be on a billboard. Whatever you're going to do with it, you need to let them know. And then you need to make sure that they know they can take it back at any time. This is not a no take backsies thing. You can take it back at any time. That was a lot in 20 minutes. I could spend probably 2 hours talking about those 7 code things, but we have 30 minutes. Let's jump into a few questions because I know that's what many of you come here for. Question number 1. You are the director of operations for a large multi-state ABA operation. You are responsible for hiring and supporting all clinical directors across the organization. Recently, you have received an application from a position that you will directly support. The applicant is your ex-wife with whom you've been separated for 9 months. Ethically, how should you proceed? A, request the interview be conducted by an unaffiliated party. B, do not extend an interview or job offer as you have previously been in a relationship with this person. C, continue through the interview process and hiring process as normal. Or D, set up an alternative hiring manager and clinical support person. Should they be hired? Awesome jobs, folks. Everyone that I see that's chatted has gotten it right, so great job. The answer is C. It's been greater than 6 months, so literally you can just continue as normal. This is the good thing about the ethics code. Usually the answers are black and white, like there's no real gray area. Either you know it or you don't. In this case, it's been 9 months. You only have to wait 6 months, so you would just continue as normal. Best practice might be to do something else. That's not what the question's asking. Ethically, all you have to do is continue as normal because it's been greater than 6 months. Lizette, one of your longtime clients, has recently posted to your organization's social media accounts that you are the best behavior analyst out there and that your company has done wonders for her child and their family. What is your ethical responsibility based on their statement? A, have the statement removed as they are a current client. B, nothing as this statement is truthful in nature. C, list the statement as a solicited testimonial. Or D, list the statement as an unsolicited testimonial. All right, we're all over the place on this one. B's, D's, A's, no C's though. So only B's, D's, and A's. The answer here is going to be B, nothing, as the statement is truthful. It's a current client. It's an unsolicited review. You don't have to do anything. The likelihood that you even know that it's on there is pretty slim. But if we point back to the ethics code, it states for a unsolicited testimonial from a current client, you don't have to do anything due to the fact that you can't control those things, right? It's not controllable. Now, if this were a former client and you had solicited it, then you would list it as solicited. You don't need to list them as unsolicited. You need to list them as solicited if you ask for it. And then you don't have to have it removed if they're a current client. If they choose to post, they chose to post, totally fine. It's truthful in nature. You don't have to do anything. Now, if this said, cured my child, get rid of it, right? It's got to take it down. We don't cure people. We provide individuals with the necessary bridges in their skills to achieve habilitation, right? Or the ability to have more independence and all of those fun things, but we don't cure anything. And so if that was the statement, we would need to have that removed, but it's not, so you leave it. Last one. As the newest behavior analyst, you are required to take part in a bit of a tradition. It is your responsibility to grab coffee for each of the behavior therapists at your organization each Friday. To be ethical, which of the following must be true? A, the order total must be under $10. B, each coffee must be under $10 total. C, you should randomize the provision of the caffeinated beverages. Or D, The delivery of caffeinated beverages needs to be provided on a much thinner and intermittent schedule. All right, this is a tough one. Only one person got it right. So, oh, two, three. Only three people got it right. Very tough one. So out of the 33 people here, three of you got it right. Like I said, this one is challenging, but the answer here is D. There's a few reasons the answer is D. So a lot of you picked B. Each coffee must be under $10 in value. That would be true, or at least that each person's coffee should be under $10. But more importantly, you are doing it each Friday. Remember, if you're giving or receiving gifts, it needs to be under $10 in value and infrequent. It can't be like expected. Every Friday, I'm getting a coffee from Miko. Sorry. I certainly would be happy to get you a coffee every now and then, but I can't every Friday. Number one, because I have a 4-month-old baby and they're expensive. Number two, because the code tells me to. I guess I should say number one, the code, just in case anyone from the BACB is watching. But regardless, $10 or less in value and infrequent in nature. $10 and less in value and infrequent in nature. This is just a dissection question, y'all. So don't jump just because it says $10. Don't jump. Make sure you're dissecting the question, understanding exactly what the question says. And as soon as you see each Friday, infrequent should pop into your head. So cool. Well, I hope this is helpful. I'm going to go ahead and try to quickly throw your names into the wheel of names so that way I can give away a mini mock, and then I'm going to go ahead and jump off. But let's do it. We do this every Monday, 8 o'clock every Monday, unless there's a holiday. You all are more than welcome to join every time. We do use the same link every single time. I try to post these on YouTube the next day. So I'm going to try to have this up tomorrow, though I have like literally 8 hours worth of calls tomorrow. So we'll see if I can do that. If there's a topic that you want me to do, you are more than welcome to send me a message on Instagram. You can send us an email. What is it? info@behavioranalystsupervisor.com. And I can go ahead and put that on the list of things that we can cover. I just have a running list of people that have done that. And like I said, I'm happy to cover whatever it is that you want us to. So, okay, hold on. Trying to multitask. I can type much faster when I'm not multitasking, but and then there's a few of you that just have like funny names, so I'll put those names in, but you're gonna have to like chat me or email in order to actually win. And I apologize, we won't have any time for questions now, but if you have a question about one of those, you're welcome to email it. You can DM us on Instagram. Do not post your question on YouTube because I don't answer those as frequently as I should. So if you want to get an answer in under 6 months, you should go ahead and email it to us. No, but really. So Orlando, my friend, you are our winner. I know you have an account. So I'll make sure that gets into your account, Orlando. It'll be under tomorrow. I'll put it in there tomorrow morning. It'll be under what will it be under? It'll be under assessments, and it'll be titled Mixed Mini for Tutoring. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate each of you. I hope this is helpful as always. If you have questions, feel free to send us an email. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your Monday, and I'll see you next week.